This episode of SpectreSoundStudios is brought to you by the French Guitar Cookbook. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 91 of SMG Viewers Comments. Let's get right to it.
Just a question, but does the grill on the front of a speaker cabinet make a significant difference to tone, or is it primarily just cosmetic? Thanks.
That is a damn fine question. I mean, like, a lot of the cloth grills are designed to be acoustically transparent, so I would say no. But then again, you get a cabinet like an angle cabinet with that great big metal grill on it. I'm wondering if it does have an effect. I really should do an A/B comparison where we record with the grill on and the grill off just to see what happens, because I've got a sneaky suspicion that it does affect the sound to a certain extent. How much, that remains to be seen, but definitely worth checking out. Thanks for asking. I will put that on my to-do list.
Glenn, I've been a long-time user of Firewire interfaces, and I just fucking love them. When my Mac died last summer after 6 years of glorious service, I was left with Firewire gear and the free replacement Mac that had Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt meaning I had to buy proprietary Apple Firewire to Thunderbolt adapter. I'm having to crank gain up to fucking stupid levels now for anything other than bass and guitar cab recordings. Any advice? I'm not pimping in the bank and can't really afford to buy a Thunderbolt or decent USB interface new.
Hi, I'm a PC.
Oh, hi, I'm also a PC.
Yeah, we're not coffee shop hipsters.
We actually get shit done.
Well, that's the price you pay for enslaving yourself to Steve Jobs' ghost. Unfortunately, it's a giant shit sandwich, and you're probably gonna have to take a great big bite out of it. Truthfully though, you might want to talk to the guys at Otherworld Audio. They do all kinds of adapters and resurrect old tech for Mac computers. They probably have something proprietary that might work a little bit better than your Firewire to Thunderbolt interface. I feel really bad for you, man. There's not much I can say on that. I love my Fireface 800. It's been in use for well over 10 years and still works absolutely flawless on my PC. Bitch.
Ozzy or Dio?
Halford, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What about miking the room instead of the cabinet? Would it work?
Not so much for like a metal rhythm tone, unless you're doing like the Chris Sangarides Vortex method. Chris came up with that, just experimenting with dicking around with room mics and whatnot. If you listen to the Painkiller record, actually, the rhythm guitars there are mic'd with the Vortex method. It's a pretty fucking big sound. You can do it, but you gotta be very careful because you wind up putting the guitars in a space and can kind of take away from that in-your-face sound. Generally, when I'm miking guitars, it's all just close mic, but maybe one of these days I should really try experimenting with a room mic just to see what would happen. One other thing to look up, and it's an easier way of doing it, is I called it the Dust Devil, and it was kind of like a simulated version of the Vortex using the 2Notes Torpedo software, which was great because it allowed you to use impulses and then do simulated room mics, and I stacked a whole bunch and kind of sounded pretty neat, actually. Definitely worth checking out. It's one of my very first episodes. It's going way back, so check it out.
Someone pick up this guy to host a Metal Gear, not the game, show on cable or something. This guy needs to be paid more so we can watch more.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Truthfully, I'd love to do a show for Discovery. You know, we could go around and check out different recording studios around the world. That'd be a lot of fun. But whether or not they'll actually go for it, I don't know, man. It all depends on you guys. I think it's a great idea, though. We should try it out.
Great video. Let me reload the page with the ad blocker turned off just for you today.
Dude, thank you so much for your support. And to the rest of you guys who have ad blocker disabled, I really do appreciate it. You guys are what's helping make this show happen. Thank you so much for your continued support. I really, truly appreciate it. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by the French Guitar Cookbook. Now, if you've been watching the show for a while, you'll know I did a piece on their Kickstarter last summer, and now the book has been published. What it is a cheat sheet for guitar and bass players to help them understand chords and scales and how they all fit together. If you're like me and you think your riffs are starting to sound just a little bit the same, this will help you break out of that mold because it is a great tool to write with. Even if you don't know anything about music theory, the French Guitar Cookbook will help you discover it. And if you do know theory, it will help you discover new scales and harmonizations. The book is written by a self-taught guitar player, uses easy-to-read charts and diagrams, and is written in English and French. What's more, I'm going to be giving away 3 signed copies as an added prize to my SMG Oldies But Baddies contest. You can find the book at guitarcook.com or on Amazon. The links are in the description below.
Wonder what would happen if you gave a drum set to a bass player.
Well, that's one of those things, where you like divide by 0 or, you put in the alpha omega codes or turning the keys on the nuclear launch codes and that kind of shit. It's just something you don't do, man. You're playing, with singularities and the end of the universe there. You probably fucking, open up a black hole and fucking the whole world will get sucked into a giant vortex and that'll be the end of everything. So yeah, it's basically, don't fucking do it.
No proper metalhead should like Tears for Fears, that is for damn sure. I didn't for the longest time, now I love them. I will say this, Tears for Fears from a purely stage production standpoint was the best sounding live band I've ever heard. Everyone on stage was an incredible musician too. But hey, they're not everyone's bag.
That's a fair assessment. I've never said they're bad musicians. I'm sure they're outstanding performers. You know what? They've been doing it long enough, okay? They've definitely got my respect in that regard. I just don't like the music they write. It's like Nickelback does a great stage production. Nickelback has a great live show. They're boring as shit, though. It's just, again, not everyone's bag. Good point. I'm not disparaging the amount of effort those guys put in or their musicianship or anything like that. I'm into metal, though.
Crap experiment did not prove anything.
Proved you're an ignorant dumbass. I've got a lot of flack for that, mainly because we took a time-honored myth and just destroyed it. But, everybody wrote in to say how wrong we were. Well, we did it wrong this way, we did it wrong that way. Used too much distortion, used too many good guitar players. You know what? We are going to revisit that at some point. I'm going to get another 4 guitar players, and we're gonna do it a little bit differently this time, so stay tuned for that. But I'm not going to come to any prejudice on it. We'll take a look and see what happens. I'm not going to say one thing or the other. All I can say is based on the last experiment we did, that the sound was not in the hands. The sound was definitely in the gear. Now, I've had arguments with people about this. Well, this engineer said this and this engineer said that. And it's like, okay, great. Well, they said that, but they haven't run the same experiment where they had 4 players play the exact same guitar with the exact same riff and the exact same pick and everything, and the only variable was the guitar player. I've only seen that done once, and that was on this channel. Show me another experiment where the same test is run with different results. I would love to see that. Not what Stevie's uncle's brother's sister's mother-in-law said about it. Just show me evidence.
Another thing you can do to remove the clang is to put pieces of painter's tape around the snare. Another trick, if you don't have painter's tape, is to set a driver's license on the snare. The license absorbs the clang. The same physics apply with the tape and the ripple.
Old techniques, yes. Do the same physics apply? No, actually not. The whole point of doing the ripple as opposed to putting something on the surface of the snare is to preserve the treble end of the spectrum on the snare drum. When you put absorbers on, you're absorbing the high-end frequencies. So you get a muddy snare. If you do the ripple tuning method, you're not interfering with the top end and you get that high-end crack. Go listen to the snare drum on that Vias demo with Oliver playing that one take wonder. We used the ripple snare technique there, and yeah, it just rips your head off.
Hey Glenn, are you still using this plugin, or more so Drumatom or the JST stuff?
You're asking about drum lever. Yes, I actually still use that quite a bit, mostly on the kick, sometimes on the snare, a few times on the toms, not too much. For the most part, most drummers can get the toms right. Definitely on the kicks, it's completely awesome. The thing is, Drumatom and drum leveler do two very different things. Drumatom is for reducing bleed, whereas drum leveler is about leveling out the dynamics of a drummer. Both are fantastic programs in their own right. I'm a huge fan of both those, and they are both definitely worth checking out, along with some of the Sturgis stuff as well.
Haha, I've been following your channel for a while now. I don't think you've ever uttered the words Van Halen. What's your opinion on them?
They should have called it quits after 1984 when David Lee Roth left the band. Believe me, we wouldn't have missed anything.
Hey man, I like 5150.
You're fired.
Never talk about processing vocals. Maybe because not cupping the mic is about 90% of it.
Oh wow, somebody's finally paying attention.
Hey Glenn, been a long-time subscriber of yours and really enjoy your shit. Might have answered this question before, but could you talk about why you want a YouTube channel and why do you want to make a living out of it? Why not keep doing what you do up until now? Also, what are your biggest challenges as a YouTuber?
Great question, man. Okay, I went to school for media arts. I did film and audio and video, and I majored in something called multimedia technology, and that's where we did these massive shows with banks of slide projectors and live video, and it was really fucking cool. Anyway, so I busted my ass for 3 years in college because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to have a career in media. After I graduated, there were absolutely no fucking jobs, so I had to come home, and I wound up getting a job in the manufacturing sector, and that is not what I wanted to do with my life. Never has been. It's a good place to work, don't get me wrong. It pays well and there's benefits. And it has allowed me to open up a studio, which I've run for about roughly 20 years now. Don't get me wrong, I am grateful it's there, but it's never what I wanted to do with my life. So now that YouTube has taken off, it's definitely opened up some massive career opportunities. I'm hoping to turn it into a full-time career at some point in the next year if everything goes well. That being said, Challenges for YouTube, especially when you have a day job, is maintaining a constant release schedule of 3 shows a week. It can be very trying, especially when you're trying to schedule sessions for people to demo and that kind of thing. It's a lot of work, and it means a lot of sacrifice too. I mean, like, it's been months since I've played a video game. I mean, like, the most I get to do right now is sit down with my wife and maybe watch some Netflix and stuff. I'm going through Iron Fist with her right now and really enjoying that. Even though the critics hated it, well, the critics are fucking morons like usual. But the release schedule can be pretty brutal, and making sure I've got videos for you guys 3 times a week is a bigger commitment than I would think sometimes. I mean, like, the viewers' comments video every Friday, that's no problem. I've started to move things on to Sundays as well, because I'm finding that's doing a little bit better. I'm started this series, which I'm calling the Sunday Rants. That's the unofficial title right now, where I'm doing editorial videos like Music's Not a Meritocracy, Do You Need a Record Label, that kind of thing, and I've got more stuff coming up along that. I don't know if I can do that every Sunday yet, but that's what the ultimate goal is to do an editorial style video every Sunday. And then Wednesdays we do reviews or demos, and then tutorials as well. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's extremely rewarding, and I absolutely love doing YouTube. I love interacting with you guys. I love answering your questions about recording, and I'm more than happy to share what I know. Thank you so much for subscribing.
I figured it out! I know where Glenn works. Everyone ready for this? He's on the assembly line at line 6 in the spider department.
Oh shit, they found out! Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, please support the channel either at my SMG shop or through my Patreon. If you want to see more, hit one of the playlists. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.